Thank you so much for making it onto the show.
Oh, thank you very much.
What do you think of the London traffic?
It's pretty hard. But I'm kind of used to traffic since I live in Los Angeles now.
Oh, and how's the jet lag then?
I'm doing okay with it. I haven't
okay.
quite caught up.
The excitement sort of dissipates it, doesn't it? Tell me something. Why did you want to be a country singer?
Well, I don't think I was attracted to country music because my roots were in country or because I was from, a Southern family or anything like that. I was attracted to it because I could identify with the lyrics of the songs and because I would swear, like every time I heard a new song, that the song was written just especially for me.
But who were you listening to?
I was listening to Trisha Yearwood and Garth Brooks and Winona and Reba.
You do realize you make us feel very, very old when you say that you're influenced by these people who I think are newcomers.
Well, I'm only 22.
Okay. You're in Florida at that time.
Right.
Like the Mavericks.
Yeah, actually, I just found that out recently that they're from Florida also.
Now, they recognized Nashville as being the place they had to be. When was it that you thought, right, it's got to be Nashville and I've got to make it there?
Well, I knew that Nashville is kind of the center of all musicians, and songwriters. I mean, even more so than Los Angeles and New York. They have like a community of songwriters there. And I just knew that that was where I had to go to ever be heard. And so I, at 18 years old, set out to go to Nashville.
Boy, did you set out to do it. You were going to make it in a year. You decided it was going to be 1 year you'd give over to that. And if you didn't make it, what would you do? Quit?
Well, I'd like to be able to say that I made that goal for myself. But honestly, my mother did.
Did she?
Yes. My mom said that she felt like I was a great singer, but she just knew that it was so rare to make it in the business, and she was right. And she just thought that I would be better off going to college and having something to fall back on in case it didn't work. And she wanted me to go to college first. And so I told her that I didn't want to go to college first, and I said, please, just let me go and try this. I want to do this. I'll feel like for the rest of my life like I didn't try. So she said, okay, go ahead and try, but make me a promise. If nothing happens in a year, you'll come home. And I said, okay, I promise that. She said, look, if it's not meant to be, it won't happen in a year. And come to find out, she was right, because I got my record deal in 51 weeks.
51 weeks. What would have happened? What do you think you'd be now if it had gone on another week?
If I thought that nothing was happening and I knew that, I would have known and I would have gone home.
Okay, and you'd be a cab driver now?
No, I'd just be graduating college.
Oh, well, there you are. That first single that you got, that was a great song, that 10,000 Angels, wasn't it?
Thank you. It's actually my favorite song on the first album was 10,000 Angels. That song just means so much.
Where did it come from?
Well, there's actually a really cool story behind that song. My grandfather sang in church when he was 18 years old, and it was on a church Sunday school program that was a live broadcast, and the song that he sang was called 10,000 Angels. So when I was looking for material for my first album, I didn't have a first single yet, and we hadn't found one, and we were, diligently looking, and we went to this publishing office, and they said, we don't want to tell you the title to this song because you'll probably think of it differently than it is. So just listen to it and then, pass judgment. So when I heard the hook and I heard the words 10,000 Angels, I knew that was my first single.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be.
10,000 Angels, Mindy McCready's first hit. Where did that get to, that song, in the chart?
It went to number 5 in the States.
That'll do for the first single, don't it?
I think so. I think that's great.
And what a great follow-up you had. It's been described as the unofficial American women's anthem.
Yes.
Guys do it all the time.
That's right.
Now, was this the point where you said, right, I'm going to set out and I'm going to take on a personality here, and I'm going to start breaking the mold of Nashville female country sings?
Well, I didn't really set out, to do that consciously, but I was just being myself, and I was just speaking my mind through my music, and it just so happened that there was a lot of women out there that agreed with me and that wanted to hear what I had to say.
It just strikes a chord obviously it strikes a chord with some men as well. I think they understand what you're saying, and maybe it makes them stop and think, yeah, I suppose I do that.
Well, that's the point. I hope that they do. I mean, I hope that they realize that life doesn't revolve around them, that relationships should be equal, and that if a relationship is equal, it will last a lot longer.
You've mentioned among your influences people like Trisha Yearwood, but going back, can you think of other people who are your sort of country icons, female country icons?
Patsy Cline, Tammy Wynette, Loretta Lynn, Kitty Wells. I mean, even going back that far. I mean, there's so many people that I loved to listen to. I mean, but I also loved Madonna, and I also loved Janet Jackson, and Michael Jackson, and Prince.
Now, going back to the take that you have on women in country and so on, how does Nashville, the business, take to that? I've spent a lot of time in Nashville, and I've met some of those big wheels in that town, and, well, they're not all new men, are they? They're not all terribly liberated. How do they react to your attitude?
Actually, a lot of them are not liberated, and I think they object a little bit to my attitude, which, to me just says that that's a sign of insecurity and a sign of a person not wanting things to change.
A sign of insecurity in them?
Yeah,
boy, I bet they love it if you tell them that.
I don't care.
Good.
I think that the truth is the most important thing. And, I mean, when a person speaks the truth and people follow, it is the right thing. And, I think that Nashville stands for tradition and stands for, trying to keep things the way that they were instead of, moving on with the 90s and progress and trying to reach more people and take things to a bigger level. And I think that's wrong. I mean, I'm all for traditional things, but I'm also for gaining a new audience and, singing to more people and expanding, the music that we make and, broadening our horizons a little bit. I don't think that Nashville is quite ready to do all of that yet.
Well, in the light of what you've been saying, we better listen to Guys Do It All the Time.
Okay.
Guys Do It All the Time from my guest in the studio, Mindy McCready. Mindy, I like the idea of making money and, getting rich. I just thought of a way, and that would be if we could bottle what it is you've got and sell it. In that, to go at the age of 19, 20, to go to Nashville and take those people on and say, no, I want to do it my way, I want to do it this way, requires a huge amount of self-confidence and nerve. Where did that come from?
Well, you know what? I would like to be able to say that I was that self-confident and that I had that much nerve, but I really just didn't know any better. I mean, I didn't know that I couldn't make it. I mean, I truly believed that because I wanted to sing, the sheer fact that I wanted to, that I could. And so I have to say that, maybe 50% of it was ignorance is bliss and naivety instead of, that sheer will to succeed. But there was also, my personality comes into effect in that also. I mean, I am a very ambitious person, and I am a very positive person, and I truly believe that anything you put your mind to, that you can really do.
So if you want to get on in some business, don't learn the rules.
Well, I'm not ignore all the rules, but if you don't believe in what the rule is, and you truly have a conviction about it in your heart, then don't follow that rule.
When we had Mavericks in here a couple of weeks ago, they were saying that they get really, really, I won't use their words, but they get really, really irritated by the way everybody in Nashville says everybody else is wonderful, regardless of what they really think. Do you think that mood is changing?
No, I think that Nashville will always be the way that it is because it is Nashville. And they do that. They're very guilty of a facade, I think, being very, very nice to your face, and then you turn your back and they say, oh, I hate her. And, I mean, most of it is just sheer jealousy. It's sad to me because there's so many places that our music can go and so many places that Nashville could help take it, but they won't because of the fact that everybody's so worried about what everybody else is doing.
Because there's this thing that they have, and musicians always like to trot this out, particularly the ones who weren't madly successful or who fell off the top of the heap, is that he or she hasn't paid the dues.
Yeah. In almost every single Nashville article, there's been something written in there about me paying my dues. And I keep asking the question, who made that silly, stupid lineup anyway? Who said anybody had to pay their dues? And who doesn't, who knows my life? Who knows what I've lived before I came to Nashville? I think that the only person that I have to answer to is God. And I certainly don't have to answer to any business person in Nashville about paying my dues.
Now, you're a new face and a new voice to this country. Your other half, however, your other half is very, very well known in this country from the TV series Superman, Dean Cain.
Yes.
How did you meet Dean? When did you meet him?
Dean and I met through his mother, actually. His mother and father came to see me about doing a movie. His mother and I got to talking and just really hit it off and just loved each other. And she decided I was the perfect woman for her son. And she called her son the next day and she said to Dean, I have met your future wife.
Did she really?
Yes. So he called me and we started this little telephone romance. And we talked on the phone for about, I don't know, almost a month before we ever met each other. And
But you'd seen him, of course, hadn't you?
No.
You hadn't?
No. Superman was off the air in America at that time. So I had no place to go and see what Dean Cain looked like. So he came walking into my dressing room. I invited him to a show. And that was the first time I had ever seen him. And the rest is history.
But what does he think of the music?
Oh, he loves my music. He loves lots of country music, actually. He sometimes calls Nashville repressed, but...
he being presumably from Los Angeles, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Hollywood thinks a lot of things are repressed, however. But he loves my songs, and I think that he's actually made the statement a lot of times that his favorite thing about country music is his wife. So... in which we are not married yet, but he does call me that.
I was trying to work in a sentence about the two of you raising little Cains, but I'm sure you've thought about that one already.
Oh, God, yeah.
Not for a while, eh?
Cain and Abel, it's kind of negative. So we try to forget that.
Tell me about the new album. How long did it take to put together, and how do you feel about it at the moment?
Well, we worked on the new album for about 1.5 years, and I'm very proud of this album because the first album that you do for a record label, it tends to be more of the record label than you. I feel like the second album I got to be more of myself, and I got to be, I got to make the choices, and I got to, decide this is the song that I want to sing. This is, these are the songs that I want to cut, and I'm very proud, of the fact that I listened to my heart and my convictions, and I sang what I felt was right to sing about. I had to say my favorite track on the album is called If I Don't Stay the Night.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that if you're a woman and you're breathing and alive, that you will love this song. This song is something that every woman at one time or another in their lives has had to identify with. The song simply talks about a woman and a man getting into a new relationship, and they've come to the point where intimacy is becoming a question, and the woman is not sure if the man will still love her if she doesn't stay the night. In the song, my advice to women is, if you're not sure, then don't do it.
There's a warm breeze blowing on the back porch, babe. There's a warm breeze blowing on the back porch, babe.
If I Don't Stay the Night, Mindy McCready, and, thinking about that song and other songs that you've done, I mean, quite frivolous in some ways and quite fun, but there is a serious side to these, and you're in a position of really quite a lot of power, aren't you, in that you can pick material for your albums that you know are going to sell well and are going to influence people's thinking about the way they run their lives. Is it something you spend a lot of time thinking about, or just keep your fingers crossed?
It means so much to me not to record any song that I don't think is a song that really says something. And when I go to choose my material, I'm always thinking of my fans first, always. I'm always trying to answer the questions in their fan mail and answer the things that they've asked me at fanfare and backstage at shows. And I'm constantly considering their feelings. And I think that that's done me very well, because I think the fans know when a person is sincere and when they're trying to help instead of when they're just singing on an album to sell records.
Matricia Berg has been very important to a number of artists over the last couple of years with songs that she's written for singers, and indeed her own career has taken off as an artist in her own right. And she provided you with a cracking song, didn't she, for this album, Oh Romeo, from which the line comes, which has caught everybody's imagination, I would not die for any man.
I
Which
won't.
is,
No, Matricia she's a really big inspiration to the women of Nashville. I mean, I think she's been like a very small light in a very long tunnel, for a long time, saying, girls, you are allowed to speak out, It is okay for you to sing about what you feel and what you want, and be who you are and be proud that you're a woman. And I love Matricia for that, because I feel exactly the same way. And when I first heard Romeo, I thought to myself, that is such a powerful message, because so many people in relationships think that when it ends, life ends, and it doesn't. Life does go on. You do find love again, and you can be happy again. And I think, I'm not really sure about the statistics of suicide in Europe, but in America, in the States, it's really prevalent, and it's a really sore issue to even talk about. But I feel like I can make a difference by singing a song like Romeo in a lot of people's lives that maybe would have thought that, oh my gosh, I've lost this person that I thought was going to be with me for my life, and they're not here anymore, and I don't want to do anything but die. And I want all the women out there to know that no matter what, no man is ever worth dying for.
Mindy, it's been an absolute delight to have you on the show. Thank you
Well,
very
thank you
much
so
indeed for
much.
joining us.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you for putting me on your show. I really appreciate you being a big supporter. I know you're the first to play a Romeo.
Thanks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, that was Mindy McCready with Romeo. She's gone. She's gone. She's out of here. They work 'em hard when they come over here,